Welcome back to Zodiac Talks Tarot, the space where astrology drops the glitter and starts speaking the language of real life. Around here, we don't just pull cards for curiosity, we decode energy, intention, and human behavior through the quiet precision of the cosmos. I'm your longtime researcher, the kind of person who has spent far too many late nights comparing planetary transits with human choices and sipping lukewarm coffee while watching patterns of fate unfold. Today, Aries, we need to talk about something serious that hides behind a charming smile, the new face in your finances. This isn't one of those vague watch your wallet readings. This is a psychological X-ray of a situation that's equal parts cosmic lesson and social study, one that can save you a world of trouble if you listen before you leap. The cards this week hum with the energy of a newcomer approaching your orbit. It might be a business associate offering a great opportunity, a romantic interest who seems to appear out of nowhere, or even a relative who suddenly remembers you right after payday. At first glance, they seem perfect, thoughtful, warm, maybe even a little too understanding. But something about their presence feels rehearsed, as if their kindness was practiced in the mirror before they met you. You feel that flicker inside, that famous Aries intuition that dances somewhere between excitement and danger, and yet part of you wants to believe this could be the start of something real. Let me be blunt, Aries, it's not paranoia to sense something off, it's wisdom. In the spiritual language of life, discernment is just love dressed in armor. The line between opportunity and trap is often thinner than your patience when someone walks too slow in front of you. And this person, polished, articulate, magnetic, might not be here to join your fire but to siphon it. They could be trying to light their own torch using your fuel, smiling while they do it. They'll talk about partnership, trust, and mutual growth, words that sound delicious to an Aries hungry for forward motion. They'll flatter your leadership and call you inspiring, and it's not that these compliments are false, they're just tools. It's logistics, not love. You see, people who lack direction often orbit those who burn bright enough to guide them. You, my dear Aries, are ruled by Mars, pure motion, raw courage, untamed purpose. To some, that's not just attractive, it's exploitable. Now, this doesn't mean you have to grow suspicious of every new face that smiles your way. Buddha taught that the problem isn't in trusting others, it's in attaching your peace to their behavior. Be generous, but let your generosity be mindful. Don't pour energy into someone who treats your light like an ATM. When your gut says something feels off, don't argue with it. Intuition is just your higher self whispering facts before logic catches up. And yes, we can laugh about it later. Aries, you have this heroic habit of believing you can fix everyone. You see potential in people like it's your part-time job. But remember, not everyone wants to be saved, some just want a ride on your rocket. So, take this as your cosmic reminder, your fire is sacred, your drive is priceless, and your trust is a privilege. Guard it wisely, spend it selectively, and if anyone shows up with too much charm and not enough receipts, smile, thank them for their time, and keep your wallet, and your heart, right where they belong. Because in this universe, discernment is not cynicism, it's self-respect wrapped in starlight. And you, Aries, are not here to fund someone else's lesson, you're here to master your own. Every Aries, at some point in their story, attracts what I like to call a collector. Not the art collecting kind, but the emotional kind, the person who adores your light yet quietly fears what that light reveals about their own darkness. They're fascinated by your fire, drawn to the way you stride into life like the universe gave you a personal invitation, and yet, somewhere deep down, your self-sufficiency unsettles them. They admire your courage but envy your freedom. They praise your leadership but secretly keep score. Psychologically, it's not even personal. Aries energy radiates authenticity, and authenticity tends to shake loose whatever others are pretending to be. When you walk into a room with that natural sense of belonging, they feel the quiet tremor of their own uncertainty. You don't mean to intimidate, you simply exist too honestly for people who rely on illusion. These individuals often arrive wearing a friendly smile, speaking the language of teamwork, unity, and shared vision. They promise collaboration but carry competition in their pockets. Their subconscious whispers, "If I can't be that bright, maybe I can stand close enough to borrow some glow." You see, Aries, this isn't about evil, it's about emptiness. The cards show that this person is wrestling with instability, either financial or emotional. Perhaps they've lost something important, confidence, direction, or self-trust. They're trying to fix a sinking ship, and your energy looks like a lifeboat. You might tell yourself, they just need help, and maybe that's true. But desperation bends morals faster than gravity bends light. When someone is drowning, they don't ask permission before they grab you. Compassion, therefore, must be tempered with wisdom. You can offer your hand without letting someone pull you under. Then comes the mask of generosity. Oh, this is a favorite act among those who wish to disarm an Aries. They'll insist on paying the bill, offer to invest in your dream, or speak about partnership with almost poetic devotion. "We're in this together," they'll say, smiling like a motivational poster. But the cards, the reversed page and Knight of Coins, hint otherwise. Beneath the surface, their structure is fragile, built on sand rather than stone. They're not helping you because they can, they're helping you because they need to. Greed doesn't always arrive dressed as hunger. Sometimes, it shows up looking like charm, wearing a nice outfit, saying all the right things. You'll notice the manipulation, not in grand gestures, but in subtle emotional engineering. They may guilt trip you, overpraise you, or use phrases that sound noble but feel sticky. "I just want us both to win," they'll say, hoping you won't notice that their version of winning involves your resources. It's not cinematic villainy, it's everyday psychology, the kind of manipulation that slides beneath logic and settles in the soft spot of your empathy. When your instincts start whispering that something feels off, they'll sense it too and increase the emotional pressure. That's when Aries often falls into what I call the hero trap, the irresistible urge to rescue someone from their own chaos. You think, if I can just love them harder, support them longer, maybe my fire will thaw their frost. But some people aren't frozen, they're calculating the temperature. It's a difficult truth, but some souls will mistake your warmth for weakness. They see your generosity as a renewable resource rather than a sacred one. And because Aries has a heart wired for loyalty, you'll keep giving until you realize your flame is flickering. So here's the lesson: generosity without discernment is self-destruction wearing a halo. You don't have to stop giving, you just have to stop giving to everyone. Now let's zoom out to the larger frame, the karmic curriculum unfolding in what we call the Year of Triumph 2025. This isn't a year of luck falling from the sky, it's a year of spiritual clarity earned through experience. For Aries, it marks the unraveling of old karmic contracts, the silent agreements that kept you saying yes when your intuition screamed no. The universe is no longer rewarding blind loyalty, it's testing your ability to honor your inner boundaries. Can you say no without guilt? Can you love without losing yourself? Can you trust without surrendering your peace? Many of the so-called chosen ones, the ones with heightened sensitivity and a mission-driven heart, are being tested right now through the lens of financial discernment. And make no mistake, this isn't about money in the literal sense, it's about energy exchange. Money is simply the visible language of invisible transactions. Every dollar, every favor, every minute of your time carries your vibration. The question, then, is not am I giving too much, but am I giving to the right places? Ask yourself honestly, who feeds your flame, and who feeds off it? The universe observes how you spend not just your money, but your attention, because that's your real currency. When you pour into people who respect your energy, your abundance multiplies. But when you invest in people who see you as a convenience rather than a companion, you start to feel spiritually bankrupt. In Buddhist psychology, generosity is sacred only when it's anchored in mindfulness. To give blindly is not virtue, it's attachment disguised as kindness. You can't water every garden in the neighborhood and still expect your own roots to thrive. The Buddha once said that true compassion must include yourself, otherwise, it's just enabling with good intentions. So, Aries, the great triumph of this year will not come from the number of people you rescue, but from the boundaries you uphold. The holy word you must learn to speak fluently is no. A no spoken from wisdom carries more light than 1,000 yes spoken from exhaustion. This is your initiation into mature fire, burning bright but never out. Because your energy is sacred, your generosity is powerful, and your future deserves nothing less than your full, conscious presence. Let's get practical for a moment, Aries, because sometimes enlightenment requires a spreadsheet. The energy circling you now points to someone who has the financial habits of a storm gambler, spinning their world like a roulette wheel and betting on your stability to keep it from crashing. They might not say it outright, but their actions reveal the truth. Money disappears faster than accountability, and their plans sound suspiciously like wishful thinking disguised as strategy. If this is a business arrangement or collaboration, you must treat every handshake like a hypothesis, verify it. Read the documents twice, ask for receipts without apology, check the numbers, and remember that transparency isn't a lack of trust, it's the foundation of it. And if this person insists that you don't need to worry about the details, that's precisely when you should start worrying. Now, if this dynamic sits closer to the heart, a romantic partner or a we're in this together connection, the red flags become subtler, more emotional. Pay attention to how they talk about money. Do they crack jokes about splitting later, or gloss over the topic entirely? Do they downplay their debts like a magician hiding cards up their sleeve? Notice if they dodge questions about the future or shift the subject when responsibility enters the conversation. The danger isn't just in the lies told but in the silence that follows your questions. One of the oldest tells of manipulation is inconsistency, promises that arrive dressed in poetry but deliver in excuses. They'll say they're working on it, but the only thing they're working hard on is maintaining your patience. Here's the thing, you're ruled by Mars, the planet of motion. You thrive on action, direction, the satisfying hum of forward momentum. You believe that energy itself is proof of life, and when someone slows your rhythm with their indecision, it feels like standing behind a driver who won't move when the light turns green. But here's where many Aries trip over their own flame, mistaking stagnation for patience. Waiting for someone to change doesn't change them, it only changes you, and not in the ways that feel good. Progress delayed is often self-respect deferred. Let's pivot to psychology, because beneath this money mess lies something more primal. Greed, in its purest form, is rarely about wanting too much, it's about feeling like you are not enough. When a person feels empty, they start seeing abundance as theft. They look at your success not as inspiration but as proof that life is unfairly distributed. In their subconscious, you become both the symbol of what they desire and the reminder of what they lack. That's projection in motion. They resent your security while secretly scheming to borrow it. In Buddhist philosophy, this hunger is called tanha, the thirst of the unfulfilled mind. It's that restless craving that drives people to chase shortcuts, to manipulate outcomes, to make reckless decisions that end up burning everyone involved. The cards don't lie, they hint that this person's desperation might spiral into something dangerous, even legally questionable. Maybe it's an unethical business choice, a misappropriation of funds, or an emotional con that turns financial. But the warning here isn't designed to make you fearful, it's a reminder that karma keeps perfect records. Everything born from deceit eventually meets exposure. And when it happens, remember this, If you're entangled with such a person, the universe is not punishing you, it's educating you. You're getting a front row seat to a moral documentary about greed, illusion, and self-deception. Take notes, not revenge. Because revenge binds you to the same cycle you're meant to transcend, while awareness sets you free. This brings us to your final lesson in this triad of truths, the Aries hero complex. You, my fiery friend, have the unique ability to see people not as they are but as they could be in their best chapter. It's your superpower and your downfall. You fall in love with potential the way others fall in love with faces. You see a struggling person and immediately imagine their redemption arc, starring you as the mentor or savior. But here's the inconvenient truth: you can't rewrite someone's karma no matter how many motivational speeches you give. Your fire is powerful, yes, but it's not meant to keep other people's lanterns lit at the cost of your own. Too many Aries end up exhausted, holding someone else's chaos like a grenade that's about to go off, hoping love will defuse it. In 2025, that pattern ends. You're not being asked to stop caring, you're being asked to care consciously. The chosen ones of this era, the ones who move through life with spiritual insight and heightened intuition, are not here to rescue the world, they're here to see it. To recognize manipulation for what it is without dressing it in empathy. To call out selfishness not with anger but with quiet withdrawal. The new Aries archetype isn't the warrior charging into every battle, it's the wise observer who chooses which fires are worth their oxygen. Every time you resist the urge to rescue someone who refuses to rise, you tell the universe that your energy is sacred. You affirm that your compassion has discernment, that your time is a currency of the divine, and that your attention is too expensive to be wasted on chaos. So, Aries, let the world spin as it will. You are not the roulette table, you are the house. You don't need to gamble on other people's potential anymore. Your wealth lies not in what you give but in what you protect, the wisdom to know when to walk away, the strength to do it without guilt, and the humor to laugh at how many times you've learned this lesson before. Because that laughter? That's not cynicism, it's enlightenment with good timing. When the cards speak of jail, Aries, don't imagine metal bars or orange jumpsuits. Imagine something subtler and far more dangerous, spiritual imprisonment. Because long before a person ever faces an external sentence, they serve an internal one. This is the kind of jail built from greed, fear, and the compulsive need to control outcomes. You've seen this before, the kind of person who must win every argument, dominate every dynamic, and dictate every ending, as though the universe were their personal assistant. They aren't free, even when they appear to be. They're trapped inside a maze made of their own appetites, circling endlessly around the same lessons they refuse to learn. You, on the other hand, are being asked to preserve your freedom, and not just the kind that keeps your bank account safe, the kind that protects your emotional and spiritual sovereignty. In astrology, the Two of Cups reversed and the Five of Blades often signal what I call contracts of illusion. These are the agreements that look harmonious on paper but feel off in the gut, the business deal sealed with too much enthusiasm and too little evidence, or the romantic promise that glows with fantasy but cracks under the weight of reality. In such arrangements, one person performs sincerity while secretly keeping score, and the longer you stay in their vibration, the more you start to feel the drag of their karma like a heavy coat on a summer day. Detachment, therefore, isn't coldness, it's self-rescue. Your spiritual task is disarmingly simple: step back before the universe does it for you. Because when the cosmos decides to end a contract, it doesn't whisper, it detonates. Now, let's ground this in something familiar. The story of the neighbor who scammed an entire community, charming everyone with promises of repairs, collecting valuables, then vanishing without a trace, is not just an anecdote about greed. It's a parable about the fragility of collective trust. Every neighborhood, physical or emotional, has one of these figures. They arrive beaming, armed with ideas and easy confidence, the kind that makes you wonder if they were sent by fate or the local chamber of commerce. They say, "Let me help," and for a while, it seems they do. Until the morning you realize the tools they used were borrowed, and the trust they took was priceless. The moral here isn't cynicism. It's awareness. Trust, when properly placed, is one of humanity's most beautiful qualities. But blind trust? That's the luxury of the inexperienced. Life, like astrology, rewards those who balance open-heartedness with discernment. You can be generous without being naive. You can love people deeply while still keeping both eyes open. Your kindness, Aries, should be like fire, purposeful, warm, but always contained by intention. You wouldn't leave a flame burning unattended, and you shouldn't leave your energy unguarded either. The good news is that by seeing through this illusion early, you've already begun rewriting your karmic script. The Ten of Cups paired with the Two of Sticks reversed signals a decision point, a moment when you choose not just who belongs in your life, but what kind of energy you want your future to be built on. This isn't merely about finances or friendship, it's about frequency. Every person you let close to you contributes to the soundtrack of your destiny. And right now, the universe is fine-tuning yours, teaching you the art of selective connection. This period is preparation for something greater, the higher partnerships promised in the year of triumph 2025. These new connections won't be based on shared desperation or transactional affection, but on truth, respect, and aligned purpose. They're the kind of collaborations that uplift both parties, not drain them. But to reach that level, you must first clear the field. Let false loyalties fade. Let manipulative charmers reveal themselves through their own contradictions. Let every counterfeit friend trip over the web of their own deception while you, with quiet dignity, light another candle and keep walking forward. The universe doesn't require vengeance from you, it only requires clarity. Now, let's talk about recovery, not the self-help kind that smells like incense and denial, but the real, unglamorous kind where you admit you almost got played, laugh about it, and move on smarter. Aries doesn't enjoy being fooled. Your ego bruises easily, yes, but it heals fast and comes back stronger, like tempered steel. You'll joke about it later, probably over coffee number 3, after you've rewritten your life plan and scheduled your next big leap. Humor, after all, is how fire signs process pain. It's your way of saying, I may have stumbled, but I still look great doing it. So, laugh a little, but learn a lot. Because there's something liberating about realizing you survived another human illusion. Wisdom often shows up disguised as embarrassment, that gut punch of I should have known better that every Aries secretly hates but grows from. The next time someone mirrors your dreams too perfectly or showers you with compliments before they even know your middle name, pause. Slow the tempo. Ask yourself the quiet question that keeps you safe, are they admiring my light, or calculating how close they can get before it burns? See, the universe doesn't punish you for trusting, it refines your judgment so your trust becomes sacred. Each misstep teaches you that not every smile is friendly, not every opportunity is divine, and not every partnership deserves a chapter in your story. By embracing that lesson with humor and humility, you transform from the warrior who reacts to the sage who observes. And in that transformation lies your true healing. Because at the end of the day, freedom isn't about escaping people who deceive you, it's about not needing their approval anymore. You can't control the world's scammers, but you can control your vibration. You can choose awareness over anxiety, curiosity over cynicism, and laughter over lingering pain. Aries, your light has always been your compass. Let it illuminate, not incinerate. And when the next charming fixer appears at your metaphorical door, offering promises that sound too good to be true, remember this conversation and smile knowingly. Then politely say no, close the door, and go make yourself another cup of coffee. You've got better things to build, like a future no one can con you out of. Every year carries a distinct vibration, Aries, but 2025 comes with a sharper frequency, the kind that demands awareness over impulse and depth over dazzle. If the past few years were about surviving chaos, this one is about mastering clarity. Think of it as your personal upgrade, Aries 2.0, where wisdom becomes your armor, humor your compass, and self-awareness your sword. Let's decode what I call the Aries code for 2025, the spiritual manual you didn't know you needed but that your soul's been quietly begging for. Discernment, first and foremost, is your protection. Not every smile hides goodwill, and not every opportunity labeled divine deserves your devotion. The universe isn't asking you to become suspicious, just conscious. The past taught you that some people appear in your life carrying light, only for you to realize later they were holding a flashlight powered by your batteries. So before you hand out your trust like a business card, pause. Ask yourself whether this connection nourishes your peace or rents space in your mind for free. Next, understand that energy is the real currency. Money flows and fades, but energy, your time, attention, emotional bandwidth, is priceless. Whoever owns your attention, owns your direction. The social world thrives on distraction, and Aries, with your bold enthusiasm, you tend to give focus like it's on sale. But this year, your power depends on your ability to invest your energy with intention. You are the stock, the asset, and the dividend all in one. Choose wisely where you place your value. Then there are boundaries, your most sacred and least glamorous form of self-love. 2025 is the year your no becomes holy. You've learned that saying yes to everything doesn't make you generous, it makes you exhausted. There's strength in restraint. The universe doesn't reward martyrdom anymore, it rewards balance. Think of your boundaries as the spiritual version of quality control. No more letting half-hearted people into full-access positions in your life. Your time is limited, your fire is finite, and your generosity is divine. It should be earned, not assumed. And then comes patience, a word that often makes Aries twitch. You're ruled by Mars, the planet that prefers action over reflection, conquest over contemplation. But this year, speed doesn't equal success, precision does. The year of triumph 2025 favors those who can pause without losing purpose. It's not about slowing down your ambition but refining your aim. Think of yourself as an archer drawing back your bow, the stillness before the release determines the power of your shot. Patience isn't stagnation, it's strategic alignment. Finally, trust your instincts, because they are not random flares of emotion, they are your built-in prophecy. The chosen ones, those who carry higher intuition and spiritual awareness, know that the universe rarely sends proof before a decision. It sends a pulse, a subtle vibration of knowing that defies logic. You don't need evidence to honor your intuition, Aries, your instincts are the evidence. And yes, that same fire that builds empires can also burn illusions. So, before you light the next match, make sure you know what's worth burning and what deserves to grow. Now, take a breath and reflect. When was the last time you ignored your intuition just because you wanted to believe in someone? That right there, that's the old Aries. The version who mistook charisma for character, motion for meaning, potential for partnership. But the new Aries being forged this year knows better. You've learned that not every battle deserves your sword, and not every companion deserves a seat at your strategy table. You're not required to fight every deceiver. Some people reveal themselves beautifully when you stop feeding their energy. It's almost comical how quickly truth rises when silence replaces effort. The final message from Spirit comes with clarity and a touch of poetic justice, liberation. The moment you reclaim your attention, the chains fall off. Someone in your orbit may crumble under the weight of their own greed, but that isn't your punishment to deliver, it's their syllabus in the school of karma. Your role is to master, not avenge. You are mastering how to channel your fire without scorching yourself, learning to see manipulation not as betrayal but as a mile marker on your road to wisdom. Spirit whispers a lesson both simple and eternal: when you stop feeding the ungrateful, abundance multiplies. Let that truth echo through every corner of your life. Repeat this mantra until it settles into your bones: my energy is sacred. My generosity is guided. My future is flame-proof. Because true mastery doesn't mean extinguishing your fire, it means learning when to let it warm, when to let it illuminate, and when to let it blaze. You are not meant to live in fear, Aries. You are meant to live in awareness. Keep your heart open, the world still needs your passion, but let your love move through the filter of wisdom. Compassion without discernment becomes sacrifice, and you've already given enough of yourself to unworthy causes. This is your season to be both kind and clear, generous but guarded, fierce yet free. The impulsive Aries of yesterday chased validation, the enlightened Aries of 2025 attracts respect. You've evolved from reacting to directing, from burning fast to burning wise. So when a new person steps into your orbit this year, remember, stars draw both admirers and thieves. Shine anyway, but keep your telescope clean. Observe patterns, not promises. Some people come into your life to light candles, others come with buckets of water. Learn to tell the difference without bitterness. That's how the chosen ones move, not with suspicion, but with steady awareness. And perhaps most importantly, remember that your true wealth has nothing to do with numbers on a screen or treasures in a vault. It lives in your clarity, that calm, luminous understanding of who you are and what you will no longer tolerate. In the year of triumph 2025, that clarity will become your crown. It will make you unstoppable, untouchable, and deeply at peace. So go ahead, Aries, live loudly but wisely. Enjoy your coffee, your laughter, your victories, and even your mistakes. They're all part of the art of being alive. Celebrate that wild, magnetic fire inside you, but let it burn with intention, not impulse. The cosmos isn't asking you to dim down, it's teaching you to shine smarter. And before you go, if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of your power or gave you that small nudge back toward your purpose, don't forget to support this growing circle of seekers. Like this message, share it with another Aries who might need the same reminder, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot for more deep, grounded, and spiritually sharp readings. This space isn't about fortune-telling, it's about self-understanding, evolution, and laughter through the lessons. Keep your fire, Aries. The universe is watching, and cheering you on.